It's no secret that the most popular sport in the world is football, a sport which evokes a lot of passion. But what happens when this passion goes too far? Well, you end up with the football war. Central Americans are renowned for their love of football, but it was this love of football that escalated an existing beef between El Salvador and Honduras, causing all-out war. Despite being dwarfed by Honduras in terms of landmass, the population of El Salvador in 1969 was greater than that of its neighbour. This resulted in lots of both legal and illegal migration to Honduras in order to secure farmland. With the president of Honduras under extreme pressure at the time for the failings of the country, as a last-ditch attempt to win over the Honduran population, he blamed the Salvadoran immigrants for the country's shortcomings, accusing them of stealing land and jobs which rightfully belonged to the Honduran nationals. This, unsurprisingly, resulted in Honduran aggression and violence towards Salvadoran immigrants as they were the easy scapegoat, with many Salvadorans being deported and kicked off the land. This in turn angered El Salvador's government, as they couldn't support the number of Salvadorans that had to return back home. With tensions between the countries at an all-time high, the last thing that was needed was an all-important football game between the two nations to decide who qualifies for the upcoming World Cup in Mexico. However, that's exactly what they got. The first of 3 games was held in Honduras, providing the home nation with an advantage. However, this advantage was doubled as before the game, Hondurans caused disruption outside the Salvadoran team's hotel, stopping them from getting good sleep in preparation for the upcoming game. This ultimately had an effect on the game the next day, with Honduras coming out 1-0 victors. During and after the match, there was lots of fan trouble, with hatred on each side carrying over from the streets into the stands. Not to be outdone, for the next leg, it was the turn of the Salvadorans to cause disruption outside the Honduran team's hotel, stopping them from sleeping. With the game in their homeland and Honduras exhausted, El Salvador cruised to a 3-0 win. However, the most notable event from this game was El Salvador raising a dirty rag in place of the Honduran flag, which, you guessed it, led to even more fan trouble and violence in the stands. The final and decisive qualifying leg was played at a neutral venue in Mexico City, where El Salvador would reign victorious after a closely contested 3-2 victory. This qualified El Salvador for the 1970 World Cup in Mexico. El Salvador's victory only fueled and escalated violence towards Salvadoran immigrants in Honduras. Many were beaten, forced to leave, and in some extreme cases, killed. This was the last straw for El Salvador's government, who dropped all ties with and declared war on Honduras on the 14th of July 1969. El Salvador had a superior army and military tactics, targeting Toncontín International Airport in Honduras. This prevented the Hondurans from taking to the sky themselves. El Salvador was in the ascendancy and edging closer towards the Honduran capital, leaving Honduras feeling defenceless. However, this feeling didn't last long, as Honduras eventually got planes in the air and retaliated by dropping bombs on El Salvador's main airport, as well as the oil reserves. With conflict still raging on, Honduras appealed to the Organization of American States, asking for intervention due to their military being so largely outnumbered. The Organization of American States stepped in, threatening El Salvador with economic sanctions, resulting in a ceasefire being agreed upon on the 18th of July that same year. You may have also noticed that this war started on the 14th of July and ended on the 18th of July in 1969. This makes it one of the shortest wars throughout history. Despite the shortness of the war, there was still thousands of deaths on either side, with civilians also getting caught in the crossfire. Despite the stalemate, tension between the two countries never eased, and Salvadorans living in Honduras were still subject to violence and aggression. And to this day, border disputes still cause contention between both sets of people.